Welcome back to Realist Comics. I'm Nick, and today we're going to talk about 5 things I wish I knew before I started collecting comic books. So we'll start off with number 1, how much space it takes to store all these comic books. So I remember when I first started collecting comic books, it was so funny because I built this really nice kind of cabinet storage with one single drawer. It wasn't even as big as like a short box. And I convinced my wife that, don't worry, I'm never going to fill this up, so this is all I'm ever going to need to take up my comic books. That was a lie, obviously. I didn't know that then, but I know it now. About a month's worth of pull list at some point in my collecting careers. I guess we call it career. My collecting, whatever you want to call it, could have filled up that little box I made. It was maybe 14, 15 inches deep. Yeah, you guys have seen some of the pools that I know you have. I've had some huge ones in the past. That's a month's worth maybe. But knowing that now, knowing that then would have been a much bigger deal to be able to understand what I was about to step into with my comic book collecting. So whenever you start collecting, or if you're a current collector, you'll probably find this very funny. Storage. You're going to have short boxes, long boxes. You're going to have sometimes piles of comics sticking around everywhere. And that just is what it is, unless you're just not going to buy a ton of comic books. Number 2 are variants. So when I first started collecting comic books, and even Dustin, we didn't fully understand the variant game, we'll call it. And I'm not talking about the exclusives that you collect for the nice artwork and things like that. I'm talking just straight up the 40 variants Marvel will release for Shang-Chi number 1. Or Moon Knight number 1, just simply because it's a new number 1. You know, you walk in and you might have your cover A and your cover B. Then you'll have C, D, E, F, G, ratio this, exclusive. Like, it's insane. And as a new collector and somebody who got caught up into that, I know times I've walked in and I'm like, oh, the 1 in 25, it's $50. And I know I've seen some other cover A's that have gone from $3.99 to like $5 million. I'm being facetious. This $50 on this book has to, return in value tenfold, 40-fold. If cover A's do that sometimes, wrong. It doesn't happen like that all the times. And unless you're specifically collecting because you love that cover or whatever, like, you really don't need to buy 15 variants. It kind of is something that I got caught up in. There would be times where on my pull list, I would put 2, 3, 4 variants. Even now with the Skybound X going on, I got caught up in it, man. I said, I want all the covers, put it all there. I realized at first it was a weekly freaking release. So now for the next 6 weeks, guess what? This guy's got every single cover for Skybound X coming. So it's easy to get caught up in, but I wish I fully understood because I had a ton of just random variants that I really didn't care about, but I bought because I thought maybe, I got caught up in it. So number 2 was certainly variants. Stay away from them in the sense of, unless you just truly love them for the artwork or whatever, but you don't have to buy a ton of variants for every single comic book. Unless you just want to, but you don't have to. Like, there's no true benefit to it on every single variant. So take it easy. Number 3 on the list are pull lists. What are pull lists? I didn't, again, understand subscriptions and pull lists. I heard subscriptions and I thought, I'm going to have to pay for this. No, it's absolutely wrong. So to understand what a pull list was, would have saved me a ton of money up front, would have made sure I didn't miss out on some of the books that I maybe missed out on because I wasn't there on New Comic Book Day and all of the scalpers and quick flippers walked in, bought everything off the shelf, or bought 15 copies off the shelf. That would have saved me some heartache and grief at that point. But to really take advantage of the pull list would have been a huge upside when I first started collecting. But at the same side of that coin, how out of hand they can get. You may start putting stuff on your pull list, and next thing you know, you may have 30, 40 books on your pull list. It seems kind of outrageous, but it's really not. And now all of a sudden, that $3.99 a book, skyrockets. I've had some huge pulls in my early collecting because I thought maybe I would be interested in that book, maybe I'd be interested in that, and I guess this kind of ties into it, but you are okay not having to buy everything, right? And that's something as a new collector I wish I would have known. New veteran collectors even, like, it's okay not to buy everything. You don't have to. You can wait till it comes out and read it digitally. You can read stuff in a trade if it maybe somewhat interests you, if you really like that paper fill. Better yet, wait till it's in the dollar bin and buy it in the dollar bin if you really do want it still at that point. So it's okay not to buy everything and to take advantage of your pull list, because that would have really saved me a ton when I first started collecting. Number 4, this would have also saved me a lot of heartache and grief and money, quite frankly, and even would have made me some money, is understanding how to price books. And with that, it means everything from condition to graded comics to raw books to is it a first print, a second print, a third print, is it the cover 1:25 ratio variant, like all of that encompassed into how to price a book, whether that's using Go Collect or eBay sold listings or things like Cover Price, or just general knowledge of how to price a book would have helped me out so much. Because there's been times where I'd walk into a comic shop, seen a book on a wall, and my mindset as an early collector was, well, if that's the price they have on it, that must be the fair price for it. And again, that's very naive, but I just have that type of personality, very trusting personality. So as a new collector, I wish I would have understood how to price books better, how to go and say, look, I'm willing to offer you this because of XYZ, the condition is a little rough, and based on this condition, I'm seeing recent sales prices that are more in line with that. And a lot of shops will work with you on things. So to me, understanding how to price books, and I guess not even necessarily grade, but understanding condition of books, certainly would have helped me as a new collector. And the same side of that coin would have helped me to sell books a little bit better, because it's okay to sell books. You know what I mean? It's okay to take and decide, you know what? I need to pay off some stuff. For example, I need to pay off some stuff because I'm getting ready to invest in a bigger home, buy a bigger home. But to do so, I need to, we'll say, make up for some sins of my early days and pay off a bit of debt so that I can drop that interest rate and drop that payment on that much bigger house. And that will put me in a much better scenario. So to do so, I sold some comic books, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong as a comic book collector also selling some comics if you need be. Dustin's been in some rough patches, had to sell some comics. You need to take care of your family, so you sell some comics or whatever it may be. It's okay. And I know that's kind of a second point, but it is certainly something I wish I would have known, was how to price and how to grade comics a little bit better so that I could have bought them at a better value or a fairer value and sold at a better value, because that's okay to do. Number 5, how freaking addictive this hobby really can be. That's something I wish I would have known before I stepped into it a little too hard, some other people. And it's all the way around, whether it's trying to get the big book on New Comic Book Day, whether it's trying to find that hardcover, like for example, up until they announced the reprint, my big whale omnibus was that Darth Vader omnibus. I really wanted it, and I was super addicted to the idea of getting that. Or trying to buy everything in a current run, like, it is so addictive so quickly, right? And there's literally been times where, FOMO plays a huge role in this too, where I'll go and spend outrageous money for something because I think I'm going to miss out on it. Or I'll think, you know what, man, I really need to complete this run, and I'll go drop a bunch of money on a large run of books at not a great value, but I just needed them. I wanted to have them. You start getting that FOMO, that anxiety, and it is so addicting. And then that addiction rolls into other things. For me, it started with back issue, Bronze Age kind of books, and then it went to New Comic Book Day books, and then it went into omnibuses and hardcovers, and now it started rolling into manga, that I'm starting to collect that pretty heavily. And for example, Dustin got into pops and figures that spun off pretty quickly. This hobby is so addictive so quickly, and that's something I wish I would have known, to like, hey, chill out with the FOMO, relax a little bit, all is going to be okay. Now, I wish some of that FOMO would have hit me on some of these bigger keys that are exploding right now, like Giant Size X-Men #1 and Hulk 181, things like that. That would have been nice. But no, for me, my FOMO was I gotta have the Death in the Family run, or just crazy things like that. But guys, those are my 5 things that I wish I would have known before I started collecting comic books. Now, Dustin may put out one of these, Justin may do one of these with their specifics and their opinions on it. And if that's something you're interested in, drop us a comment, let us know. If you enjoyed the video and like it, don't forget to subscribe, because that means a lot. Guys, you're the best part of Two Bros Comics, and as always, collect your way.